Blaya pi baro, ka step bapernaya pi. Mentaka sengi, ngini petengbiang ya ka kelas, ka English. Ka lesson ka bakat sao, bat kani ka lesson ka keren syapang, stealing and atonement. Ngakermen, shwa bangin yait siya kani ka lesson, pi ladep, ban sngap ya ka lesson ka bakat lai, bat pi la le lut ya ki homework, ba pi day bande. Tengah kermenru bakane ka video kan yarap ya pi ban smutu kam bani asyusyu bakat bangidang ya syakman pinang la asyusyu ban smutu ha ka jingpuli jumpi bat kamtam ba pinang la ban penbun syusyu kata ka jing smutu jumpi ha ka clean English te kat bangis ngap ya kan ka khana undai bangin syu ngap tang ka khana nang ta kan kutno pihak ban sngap bah kumno ban pronounce pihak ban pej bah ka keren syapang ka pat kum juru pi ban yo ka lesson ha ka jing im jong pi ka moral story leng ba jong ka khana bat lani ka story bat kum juru pin persyang ban nang improve shu ka English jong pi bat kum juru ban sngap bah bat ban pej bah ya ka ba ka lesson lani ka lenong ka bataya pi dengan nombun ketien hang ni tu ngini ya bet sya ka chapter stealing and atonement kuma pitip ka jingmut ayu stealing kamun ka ba pishu shim jong ki wei pat kam dei ka jong pi ndei pishu shim jong ki wei pat kamut ka ba shutu nai te haba pishu shim ya ka no ka tiar lane ya ka no ka bom dei ka jong pi kan donru kata ka jing pen shitom ka ba wan rengkat bat kata te kata ka atonement te bangin sung thu khambanya ya ka ni tungin ya lej bet kat ka kumno ba ka ne ka kot lani ka ne ka benta jong ka ne ka lesson ka batay ya pi bat yang ha tong in ya puli lang hang ni pet na ka kot jong pi ka chapter 14. In this lesson you will read a few extracts from Gandhiji's autobiography, My Experiments with Truth. Ha kani ka chapter ka ka bapin puli ka day kata ka jing tho ka bala shim na ka jing im jong Mahatma Gandhi bat kal ka ba ukwa ban kran la ne ka bangishim na ka ni ka day syapang kata ka jing shisha. What does he reveal about himself? Where his childhood and teenage years like yours? Was he always truthful or did he learn to be truthful? Did he find it difficult to be truthful? Find out how he became convinced of the positive consequences of being truthful. Tingin pet ya kajing im jong Mahatma Gandhi por ba udang kena. Hatu ushat long na uta ubriu uba bat ya kajing shisha uba im na kajing shisha. Haba por ba udang kena kumapi. Let's say une Mahatma Gandhi ubadai ukpa jong kari jongi dan father of a nation. Nginpet hadu katnu ula ban yang ha ka jingkisha bat haba uyang lani ubat ya ka jingkisha ka pat kata ka challenges lani ka jing ka ba ulap ha ka jing injong o te kini ki objective pinyai leng ba kini ki objective nang tapat ka ka ba pinyo lada pilada pule ya ka ni ka story te nginya direct bet let us read the text nginya direct bet sya ka ni ka lesson telada pimpat lap ya kasla kadai kasla ar spa ar pulai page 223 okay so let us read along with me. A relative and I became fond of smoking. Not that we saw any good in smoking or were very fond of the smell of a cigarette. We simply imagined a sort of pleasure in emitting clouds of smoke from our mouths. My uncle had the habit, and when he saw him smoking, we thought we should copy his example. But he had no money, so we began to collect stumps of cigarettes thrown away by the uncle. Ngatharay ngam don kam manda batai bnia ya kani namar ba dadai lelei mapi ki kena senrang pitip bahaya kani dai pitip bahaya kani bat kalong so tempting ban mat ya kata ka jing di duma balai namar ba barok khantam ha kani kari khasi jongi hapo mekhalaya jongi I kumba kadai kata masya I kumba ban long rang ba omlong lada pim di duma barok ki yat seneng ki bat laga duma kelany hapo sentur bat ki yat pentedam pum te haba ki kelung na do dang kha na do dang pun ki la yo ya kan ni kajing sma bat ki la yo I bet ya ka e ka ba ki ba he ki le ki kena na do ki kena hadu ki rang ba hadu ki pa ki mama jong ki di duma seneng sharum hatu kim kwa ban experiment om dei kum mahatma gandhi ong ba kam dei namar ba ka bang Hose kadai ka jingkwa ban experience namar balada ki le kum ta ki ni ki ba he ki pen I ba kadai ka ba barok hap ban le te imat dei na kan ni ka dau ha kan ni ka ri khasi jangiru la shu barok 99% so to say kiba bot teneng ya ka jingdi duma bat kimwat benya ya ka kaba ka ne ka duma ka le pat na din ne ka long ka basniu bha na ka benta ka jingkwa jingkia bat ru anda kilap tip bakam bha ya ka jing im jungki ya ka met jungki ya ka jingkwa jingkia kila dep pade ban syabat kerni haka la sya te merau haka te ban I ru om la shu te kena be I kum ba phila sung thu hang ni kam dei ka babha kam dei shisha ka nuksa ka babha ngimla ban let biang sha baro ki briu ban ong wat le e kata walangi persyang ru hapo school ngidon baro bor ka nika to bako free zone ngidon ru ki rally ngidon ki awareness tang ba ngam yo I shisha ya ka kata ka bangi kwa ban stop ka kabangi la ban le kadai ban sedang nangana pihi te sung thu sha ya kani batang ba barok kile lani ki himmen jung pi kile ki mama lani ki pa jung pi kile om barok kadai ka babha kata kadai ka jing shisha te nang ta hang ni bat ong kumno tangan pen ap ngan pen dia ngan pen he kani okay. The stumps, however, were not always available and could not emit much smoke either. So we began to steal coins from the servants' pocket money in order to purchase Indian cigarettes. In the meantime, we heard that the stocks of the certain plant were porous and could be smoked like cigarettes. We got them and began this kind of smoking. Te Mahatma Gandhi ong kumno bakim dan pisan ban thet ya ki cigarette te ningkong kile kumno kilum ya kitu dong cigarette ki baki brio ki la bread halam ti hasurok hang ni hang tai kilum ya kitu bat ki la persyang ban di te la da di ya tu ubala bread nta udan stang itu dong da me ding ba te nan mar kumta kile kumno ki la te namar ba kata ka jing kwa brai ka jing kwa brai bat ka jing yo I ba ki wei ki bala he ki le kumta ki le kumno ki la persyang bantu saka pisa na kapla jong no na kapla jong ki ta ki syakri jong ki te ki la persyang bantu bat ki la thiet ya kita ki duma jong ki la ni ki cigarettes bat hadian ki sasung ki tip ba udon ujat jing thung uba ki la ban di bat man mi pen mi tedam te kila persyang ban di no da uta bat hadin pat ngene pet ja ayu. But we were far from being satisfied with such things as this. Our want of independence began to upset us. It was unbearable that we should be unable to do anything without permission of our elders. At last, in sheer disgust, we decided to commit suicide. Pet kaya lam syanu. Nang tapat kata ka jing di jongki da uslaru kampen kut hi hang ta kampen tengen ye ki lani kampen hun ye ki bat ka jing kwa jang ki nang ne pat ki kwa bakin long independent kamut baki mi ki pa jang ki lani ki bala he la san ki ba hayeng sem jang ki kim kwa ye ki bakin batai ke ei bakin le lani bakin up ye ki ya ke ei kamon bakin le ki kwa ban yo kamon la lut bakin le kat bamon te kan ni ka jing kwa jing prang jang ki ban yo like mon ban yo like lut na ka kti jong ki ba yin asem man kti ki nik pa kala alam ru ki ban perkat ban kumno ban penyap yaladi namar kata ka jing kwa jang ki kala long ka ba jeliu ba but how were we to do from where to get the poison Teki ong bati tang bangin le kumno nang nungin yo ya kataka bi. We heard that dhatura seeds were an effective poison. Off we went to the jungle in search of the seeds and we got them. Ti kila e perkat hanta ba kumno ken ladang ikwa makana ban shimno e kajing im na jong tingin le kumno pat ngin yo no no takabi. Hangta kila yo sngo ba udon uta udhatura seeds dan yo shiim jong uta udhatura ubala ban long bi bat ubala ban penyap te na kumtahi kila led shaklau bat kila yo yo. Evening was thought to be an auspicious hour. We went to Kajarji Mandir, put ghee in the temple lamp and the darshan and then looked for a lonely corner. Teha kata kajan mir, kila perkat ba kajan mir, te kadai ka bakam, bahak nang ban laj ban ina kiway ne, te kila lej syak sya kata ka temple Kadarji Mandir. Kila lej syak ka mandir, te kila bo eka ghee, kila thang ya ka syarak jongki ka ba kabadon da ka ghim de ka mpniang de ka ghi kila thang he kata ka syarak hapot tempel bat nang tapat kila letnyo syakendong ban le e kata ka kam ka ba maki kila plan there in Jayupat. But our courage failed us. Supposing we were not instantly killed, and what was the good of killing ourselves? Why not rather put up with the lack of independence? But we swallowed 2 or 3 seeds nevertheless. We dared not take more. Both of us fought shy of death and decided to go to Ramji Mandir to compose ourselves and to dismiss the thought of suicide. Te kat ba kila asdang ban le ki on ba kila de bam ya uta us ing arteli lai teli tang ba kawan no kata ke jing ting bat kawan no kata ke jing perkat brio ko ong bangin yo ayu kain da ka bangi penyap ya ladi ka kan ba yangi ba ngin sha lan ngin yai lan ba kan ne ka jing bom yo lai lut na kik mi kik pa lan ne ka jing hap ban sha nya lan ne ban bot ha ka jing sen sha lan ne ka jing ya lam jol ki te nang tapat na marba ki tieng yo kim yap ne mar sendi yo kim yap ki tieng ya kata te kilet no biang shamandir bat nang ta kilet ban ruai bat ban lau no lane ban bread no ya kata ka jing mut jing perkat ban penyap ya ladi I realized that it was not an easy to commit suicide as to think about it. The thought of suicide ultimately resulted in both of us bidding goodbye to the habit of smoking snuffs or cigarettes and of stealing the servants' coppers for the purpose of smoking. Nado kata kasngi kila bread no ya kata kajing mut jing perkat ban penyap iladi na markam day ka besuk man penyap iladi nay bat kila i no ya kata ka jinglong lane ka jing practice jengki bantu bisa kenang bakindup yo di rumah. Ever since I have grown up, I have never desired to smoke and always regard the habit of smoking as barbarous, dirty, and harmful. Tin nadu kata kapor, ndadu mentan dala he lasan, la I no la sisendon Mahatma Gandhi ang ngamju pechu syapang kataka jing di duma bat manu ke badi duma ngam internet syu henrei kadai ka jing long riu klau ka jing long riu bi bat kambha yano ro te Nang tapat, I have never understood why there is such a rage for smoking throughout the world. I cannot bear to travel in a compartment full of people smoking. I become choke. Te hadin pada uang bangam ngas ngulungo kan babarok kilit ya kani kit barok ki yapet banyo bandi duma nang tekis musarong bandi duma mo. Te uang habang ayat ngalit ngawan kantam hapo tring lada don kini ki brio ki badi duma ki bun bha telada ki di duma than hapo trin ong ba ngam la ring mensim kaset ngam la ban ring mensim. But such more serious than this was the theft I was guilty of a little later. I stole the coins when I was 12 or 13, possibly less. The other theft was committed when I was 15. In this case, I stole a bit of gold out of my brother's armlet. This brother had run into a debt of about 25 rupees. He had on his arm an armlet of solid gold. It was not difficult to clip a bit out of it. Tau ang makam day tanggata. Kabangatu bandi duma lani ban bay si ban thiet cigarette. Uang ha kapor mangadap kat san snemru ngalatu ya kaksiar na opemmen jung u. Ban le ayu kene kaksiar. Ula tu ya kene bad hadin kataru uni opemmen pat ula saram kumba arpusan tengka kata kapor san arpusan tengka ro kede ka bahe ba. Te kalong ka basuk yu u bantu ya kata kaksiar bat ubi ule ayu pat de. Tongin ya pet yang ni ule ayu. Well, it was done and the dead clear. But this became more than I could bear. I resolved never to steal again. I also made up my mind to confess it to my father, but I did not dare to speak. Not that I was afraid of my father beating me, no. I do not recall his ever having beaten any of us. I was afraid of the pain that I should cause him, but I felt that the risk should be taken, that there could be a cleansing without a confession. There could not be a cleansing without confession. Kan mau bahaya kan ni. Tu ong ba la bon snam kumta la bon sngi ula yat kumta bat uni ummen jom ni suki ula la ban siu ya kata karam pausi uni Mahatma Gandhi ula smusi ya ka ei ula don kata ka jing susi ka jing kia jing mut ya ka ei ka ba ula le bat kwa shu ban le bat ula kular ya le di ba unnom ju tu shu lanu ru bat hadin nang ta ula kwa ban pla ha kwa jong u ya ka ei ka ba ulet pausi ka don kata ka jing ting ngam ting yo isyo yang namar bangam pat jukan mau ba ipa isyo menuru yang ni tang ba ka ke bangat ting kalong ba ka lada ipa itip ya kani insas musik tang ba lada ngam ya thu ya ka hok ngan nom yo ya ka jing map klem ya thu ya ka jing hok ya ka hok nom yo ya ka ta ka jing lai lu ya ka mensim te wat lada kan penpang do nut kan penpat do nut yo pa jonga ya ipa ngan ongbet ya ka jing shisha. I decided at last to write out the confession to submit to my father and ask for his forgiveness. Te ban syukran da kaktien usngo usngo la ule kumno utho na ushu tho na ya kitaki jing bakla jong u barok hoj bat upan map na okpa jong u. I wrote it on a slip of paper and handed it to him myself. Ti ula tho ya kata bat ula ai ha u kpa jong u. Pinang tapat jayu. Ti hadin ba ula confess ya kata. Ti hadin ba ula confess ya kata. See, I confess my guilt, but I ask adequate punishment for it and close with a request to him not to punish himself for my offense. I also pledge myself never to steal in the future. Mahatma Gandhi, ula tholo dia kita ki jing bakla jang ubar khot ki ba menshuwaru ka ba ula tu ya ka pisa ula tu ya ka ksiar no men jang u but ula ong yok pa jang u I deserve. Kamut nga don hok pidon hok ban penshitom yang tang ba pim don hok ban penshitom ya ladi namar ki pap ki sang jonga pidon hok ban penshitom yang nga tang ba pim don hok ban penshitom ya ladi nga kularo hang ni bangan nom tu shu lano hakajing imjonga. I was trembling as I handed the confession to my father. He was then confined to bed. His bed was a plain wooden plank. I handed him the note and sat opposite the plank. Pet kajing long jong uni o Mahatma Gandhi. Ulit ay ya kataka kot kabaula ho haukpa, but ukpa utia akajing tia kata kajing tia kadai ka bashna da kalentang bat ndau la ai kata ka kot haka kti jong ukpa usyong hang ta umpet no usyong hang ta bat u up ya ka jubab jong ukpa he read it through and tears trickled down his cheeks wetting the paper for a moment he closed his eyes in thought and then tore up the note. He had sat up to read it. He lay down again. I also cried. I could see my father's agony. If I were a painter, I could draw a picture of the whole scene today. It is still so vivid in my mind. Tu ong ba anda ukpa la yo ya kata kakot upulin na basdang habakut ongi usupule bat ke umat jung u kitut clear hap na kadur kemat jung u kala tuj haduk kata haduk ba kata kakot ru kala kala jot lengba kita ki umat jung u bat Mahatma Gandhi ru ong habangat pet ye ipa jonga kat nu kata kajing ketang mensim kajing pang mensim tu ong ngaru ngapang ga mensim bat ngayam lang hangta ladang nanang ban draw ngala draw ya kata ka drama lane ga eka baca hang tu ngala draw be tik tak bat ban pet ya ka pausi ngam nang ban draw ba kata ka jingken mau jonga kapau syai be kedar kumbadang sulong menne those tears of love cleansed my heart and washed my sin away. Then I could read in it nothing more than a father's love, but today I know that it was pure ahimsa. When there is in such ahimsa, it changes everything it touches. There was no limit to its power. Sorry, there was too much noise. That is why I went out to tell the children not to make such of noise. Okay. Te nang tapat jayu. Baro arngut kila ayam nei. Baro arngut kila ayam ketang mensim. Mahatma Gandhi usung si kawai. Ka e ka bau la le hoi. Wat usung si ru utiang ba ya ka jing ketang mensim jong kupa jong u. Kupa jong u long bajin sur mensim u bajai jai. Bat unang ru kumnoban pen e ye ukun dei. Dadai kum kikni kikpa jengi ki belengkot jengut kin le ayu tharai. Kin bom kin syok kin berngem dai. Pause ukpa jong Mahatma Gandhi upule bahaya ke ei ka ba Mahatma Gandhi ula tho bat updiang ya ke ei ka ba la long knang ba kani ke bala dia kan long ka jing sneng ka jing krau hi daladi bat Mahatma Gandhi hang ta hi apo kot ro la tho ba ngan nom melin shu lanu ru te ka ni ka jing yam jeng ki ka ni ka umat jeng ki kala pang khut clear ya ka pop ka sang ya ka jing pla jong u bat menta u ong ba ngala yo biang ya ka jing map bat nang tapat ngala shngan biang kamensim. This kind of sublime forgiveness what was not natural to my father. I had thought that he would be angry, sad, say hard things and strike his forehead. But he was so wonderfully peaceful, and I believe this was due to my clean confession. A clean confession combined with a promise never to commit the sin again is the purest type of repentance. I know that the confession made my father feel absolutely safe about me and increased his affection for me beyond measure. Tuong ba ngam poi perkat ba ipa in shim bahaya kani ka bangale ngala mudur ba ipa in hela ipa in tap ya ka kli jong i bat in le kani ka tai bat in mai in berngam yang pause kata ka jing pla jong nadu dunut kata ka jing pla jong ka ba Kaba kaba shisha lane kata ka jing pla jonga ka ban na do men sim kala ban jam do no ya ipa ban ngala kularo ya ipa ba ngan nom melin shu lano lanoro teka ni kadai ka jing in jong Mahatma Gandhi bat kani kadai ka jing sineng ken mano bom bakla ha ka jing long khna jongi shibun ngi bakla tangba ngidei ban repent dan ngidei ban kela ke nyinum dei ban long klung sa ne ngidei ban kela no ngidei ban tip ya ke e ke jing shisha bat ke e ke bom shisha bat ladangi shim ya ke no ke bom dei jong la jong ke dei jong ki wei wat lada ka long ka baritru kata kabut ka jing shitom la ne ka jing kia man sim ha ka jing im jongi tingi dei ban long kum Mahatma Gandhi ban plahok ya ke e ke balale like no release let go and begin anew kular yaladi le yaladi tip yaladi ke e ke bapile kam dei ke babiang kam dei ke babha te i no shisendon ni dei bandon kata kamen sim shinrang kumu Mahatma Gandhi ha ka ba ngila ban itu ban ngila ban sungthu ba ya ke e ke bangale kamlong ka babha te nganom le shu nang ba ngin lai na kata ke kendri jong ke jing te mrau jong ke jing kwa brai na mar ke jing kwa brai ka don ba haman lau briu bat kam kut te uni uriu krau ubaya lam ya kari India ban ya le persya ya kita kinong shun kinong te mrau da ka jing i om da ka jing ya snam tingin bud yu bat ka ni hi ka jing tho ka dei na ka jing im jong no jong Mahatma Gandhi. To, mentangin pet hang ni ke ong ba, all of us make a, sorry, hmm? I'm so sorry. Okay. So, all of us make mistake and learn from them. This is just a normal part of us. Have you ever experimented or tried to do things which you knew it was wrong? Let me pull this one. Okay. So, what happened? Have you ever experimented or tried to do things which you knew were wrong and could put you at risk? Can young people correct their mistakes and then continue to live a normal life? Yes, they can. Gandhiji too made mistakes when he was young, but he realized his mistakes. He removed the thought of suicide from his mind forever. He also decided that he would never smoke or steal. But kanuksa jong Mahatma Gandhi baro ngilong ki baduna baro mangi ki briyo ngilong ki ba bakla tang ban ngim dan kam ban syong sa hang ta lane ban syo ila di lane ban mai ila di ban judge ila di ban kritik ila di ba ngam long uba bidor ngin bread no sendon yakum kita baro ngi bakla leng ba ki jing bakla hi ngi sala ban tip bun ki aka haka jing injong itu ngin long ku mau bat menta ngin yai bek si sendon ya ka e ka bashakmat da ka hok bat da ka jin treshitang kumbo ong umen hendai khasi kamai ya ka hok bat im da ka hok im tibriu tiblay tekani kadai ka story shaphang ka jing im Kasturi ke balangkot pangkajing imu Mahatma Gandhi. Te hang ni ngil awan ya ka lesson in text questions. I want you to do it by yourself, all of this. Then once you come to class, we will be also doing it together. Okay? Then let us read this part. Okay, I want you to read this part and understand it. Okay? So, do you know? Pitipne em. Cigarettes are made from the leaves of tobacco plant. For years, tobacco has been consumed by people, but research has proved that tobacco is bad for health irrespective of the form in which it is consumed. Tobacco products in India include hookah, chewing tobacco, cigarettes, bedis, snuff, pan, masala, etc. te ngitip ba bat ngakermen piru pitip ba kino ki jingdi kini ki kenja duma lada pi bam ne pi di ne pi le hakano kono kurkom ki debe ki ba sniu na ka benta jong pi kim yarap ru em rei ki penlong bi ya ka ne. Research has linked the following harmful effects to tobacco use. Te kadon kani ka research ha ka ba kila yo I bat kila tip kila lap ba kan dei kini ki benta ki ba kani ka jingdi tan ya uduma ka ta ya jing im jong ya ka jing im jong ki brio. Smokers kamot kinong di duma. Smokers are 3 times as likely to die before the age of 60 or 70 as compared to non-speakers. Kini kinong di duma kin yap kham shwa hakapor bakidang kin yap 3 times kamot lai sha shua ka nrupau lene nyo posnem ban compare ban ya kitu ki bom di duma kin yap kloi kamut ka jing im jong ki ka kham long kot lai sha ban ya kitu ki bom di duma. Chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases known as tobacco disease. It is permanent and incurable reduction of pulmonary capacity characterized by shortness of breath, wheezing, persistent cough with sputum, and damage of lungs, including chronic bronchitis. Tekini kideki jingpang kiba kini kinong di duma kin ra haka jing im jongki heart disease. Dapat heart disease kadeka jingpang jong uhat kumjuru hate hanangi iba ulangs jongki unjaklia bat unom la bantre kambha bat unla bat nyalamru shaka cancer, kidney diseases, kidney jingpang kidney nang tatut loss kemut ke jingdu no yaki banyak jongki. Te hang ni kinyo I yaka nika adin jong katu pin lapru yaka ka explanation jong ka patu katungan nom lechu pin let hi ma pin pule hi ma pi kumju kini kiwe patri kum ta ter pin pule but pin le ya kini ki exercise barokhoj let bha bot bha iwe nang ni na kot jong pi puliru ikatu what have you learned te ndak la de barokhoj check iki answer jong pi nang ni but wan ru syaklas nginya discuss biang ke nang tapat ngin sapen bet ya ke bom lo ya ke bom padai ngin sapen bet ngin sai le biang sesubha ngap ya ni subha puli subha let through yu ya ke bapi dai ban let through what nom shu I teng namarba dada pi I teng pinom tibi haba pi puli hi pin la bet haba pi pulehi pin labe namar balay kadai ka story ne ka story ka basuk mentalele mentan ngidang puli syapang ka story jong ubriu bang itip ba uba long unong nyalam jong kari jongi kataru ai mensim yang iba barong ngilong ki briu ki babakla tamba kataru ngila hi ban penbet biang bat banginyang laki jong ki kjat ha ka jingshi sya tekane kadai ka story syapang the stealing and the atonement. Ti hang ni ngan pun kut no ya kini ke kelas bat nga kermen ba pin le ya ke ke ba pi dei ban le bleshipun min saya shem biang ya pi la ha ka wei ke video bat kum juru ha kelas.